We all know that Luka Doncic is a great basketball player, but he's still finding ways right now to continue to impress us throughout the FIBA World Cup. So, in the first game that they played, he scored 37 points. In the second game, he put up 34 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. And in that second game, it became clear that he wasn't just out there, hogging the ball and only scoring. It was clear that he had his hand in a lot of different playmaking. Obviously, he scored. He also handed out 6 assists. And what surprised me the most was the fact that he had 10 rebounds. So he's doing his thing out there, and he's carrying Slovenia throughout the tournament. And what I'm really looking forward to at this point is I want to see them play a tougher opponent at some point. And I know that they're going to. But, I want to see a really good matchup between him and another team where, they may have some established good players on the team, maybe some that played in the NBA. That would be really fun to watch. And I would be really interested to see just how well he and Slovenia does in a game like that. He is just so good as a player. He's just so dominant. And the reason, in my opinion, is because he started playing professionally at such a young age. He made his debut for Slovenia at just 17 years old. So this was back in 2016, and he was 17 years old. I'm trying to think back to what I was up to when I was 17, and, it was nowhere close to just how dominant he was at his craft. But that's insane. A year later, in 2017, he won them the Eurobasket title, and he was also named to the all-tournament team. So that just goes to show that he wasn't just some player on the roster and they ended up winning. He was a contributor, and he was playing against grown men, people that have been spending years and years training professionally. And, at 17, 18 years old, he's becoming pretty much an all-star in their league. So that's pretty fascinating. Right now, it's clear that he's kind of going through this tournament with ease. And so I read up on his scouting report from when he was first entering the NBA, because I'm curious to see what makes him so effective. And this is what I found. And this is mainly just to see why he stands out the way he does. So on offense, what he's really good at is handling the ball, right? He knows how to dribble. He knows how to get by defenders, maybe not with speed. He's definitely not the fastest player, but he does know what to do to get around really anybody that's standing in front of him. He's really good at pick and rolls. He can pass, and he has court vision, so he knows where everybody is on the court, and he can also read defenses really well. Even though he's not the fastest player on the court, he does have the ability to be, I guess shifty is the right word, but he can change his speed with ease, so he can catch defenders off guard, speeding up his game and then slowing it down when they least expect it. And he's able to be crafty. We all know that he can score. And I think what makes him stand out is the fact that he can both shoot the ball, and he also has a bag of floaters and layups too. And so where he is on the court doesn't limit him in terms of the types of scoring and the types of passing he's able to do. And I think those are his biggest strengths, and I think that's what really is helping him right now in this tournament. Now, on the offensive side, some of his weaknesses include not having explosiveness for a guard, and I would agree with this. I'm not entirely sure how international competition works. I don't watch too much of these games in the different leagues in Europe and Australia, but I've always thought that the NBA just works at a much faster pace. And especially for a guard, if you're not a sizable guard, then you're kind of expected to be really, really fast. So I guess he does have, a getaway free card there, because he is, I believe, 6'8". So maybe he's not expected to be super fast. But, when you're in the NBA and you're going up against other guards, a lot of these guys are extremely fast. The speed that they just run at is just insane with the ball. It also said that offensively, he is guilty of over dribbling. And I agree to this so much. there's so many games that I've seen, and if we're being honest, there's so many NBA games that I've bet on in the past where, Dallas is playing against some other team and it looks like they have just enough to have, a high scoring game. If not high, then even just a mediocre scoring game. But their offense slows down so much when he has the ball because he will just take his time, slow down the dribble and look around. And that causes every possession to be so slow. And, I've had instances where I lost a bet because Dallas's offense was just dead slow and they end up scoring just like 93 points or something. And they may have been expected to score like over 115. So that is one of his weaknesses. One more thing, and it kind of still impacts his play just a little bit right now, is that he's extremely confident when he has the ball. And I can see it in him too, and I'm sure you can as well. When he's holding the ball and he's dribbling it and he's looking into the eyes of his opponent, Luka knows that he's going to get by anybody. He's going to do whatever, regardless of size or speed. He's going to get damn crafty and he's going to make his space and get the ball off. But when he doesn't have the ball, he's not confident, meaning he doesn't do off-ball activities as well as other guards do. He's not running around trying to get open. He's not setting screens for other players so that they can get open. Really, when he doesn't have the ball, he becomes a little bit useless, and that would be one of his weaknesses on the offensive side. And so, I hope that these things don't affect him too much right now in the FIBA World Cup. When we're talking about defense, some of his weaknesses, and it kind of goes hand in hand with some of the offense, the explosiveness just isn't there for him. And so when he's guarding somebody that's faster than him, his lateral speed moving from left to right, it just isn't there. If there's a loose ball and if it requires somebody to sprint and leap at the ball, get it, fall down, he doesn't have that explosiveness and he doesn't have that speed, and he's not going to win that ground ball. And I can see many defenders getting past him if that's the route that they take, if that's the strategy that they come up with, that we're going to beat Luka based off just speed. I can see them getting a few easy buckets. But it's not that bad because even though he has his weaknesses, just like any other NBA player, he's just such an aware person. And he's a fierce competitor. He wants to win. And he doesn't like to settle. I've seen how angry he gets when they lose, I think he wants to win so bad, and he is very aware that I think a lot of that makes up for some of his weaknesses too. And so I don't see it as that big of a liability. But anyways, it looks like Slovenia is doing well so far. And I'm looking forward to how they do up against some of these tougher competitors at the FIBA World Cup. So I'm going to continue making update videos. And as always, I will see you in the next one.